Most traders will click off this video not because it's wrong, but it's because it's too close to home. This video might make a lot of retail traders uncomfortable. But here's the thing, if you can't watch this video through to the end, that's a sign that you're stuck at stage 3 of the trader evolution. There's total of 5 stages, and most retail traders are stuck at stage 3, and that is basically resistance to change, to develop into stage 4 and 5. So if you want to be serious about trading, if you think you're serious about trading, which I hope you are, right? That you actually want to break through this year and snap out of this losing streak of forever looping as a failing trader, right? Bleeding capital all the time, then make sure you watch this to the end, because this is the video that's going to explain exactly what stage 3 is in detail, right? And then you'll be able to understand and move on to stage 4 and 5, and then life is good. Okay? So, before we get started, if you're new to this channel, go ahead, like and subscribe, and drop a comment below. This is going to help boost the algorithm and get this video out to more traders like you. So let's get started. So stage 3 is going to be divided into 5 parts. Okay. And before we even get to that, the 5 stages, according to Mark Douglas from the Disciplined Trader of the Trading Evolution, I did a video on this previously, and I'll link that at the end of this video. You can go watch it if you want to know the full 5 stages, but it basically goes from stage 1 being innocent, stage 2 blaming the market, stage 3 is trying everything, okay, stage 4 is realizing that you're the problem, and then stage 5 is mastery. Okay, so most of you guys are stuck at stage 3. Some of you claim that you're stuck at stage 4, and that's cool. You got to do a little bit more work to break through to the mastery level. But let's go deep on stage 3 so that you know exactly what is happening. Okay, because this is the part where people get stuck for years. Okay, and they either quit or they stay around long enough and then they have a breakthrough to stage 4 and 5. Okay, so basically the first part of stage 3 is that you know what to do, but you just can't do it. Do you understand? So you're not a beginner anymore. You probably watched all of the ICT videos. You've watched a lot of content. You know pretty much what to do. I mean, you know how to read markets. You know how to trade in demo. You probably even invested in a course, right? So you might have spent a couple $1,000 on your trading education so far, right? So you've sunk a lot of time and a lot of money into becoming a trader, right? So you know what to do, right? You know what trend lines are, you know what bias is, you just know what to do. However, you can't do it, right? And this is the point where you're just sort of hopping around from one strategy to another, one guru to another. You're chasing the next shiny object all the time. Okay, so you keep switching, and you're frantic, right? You're always in a state of panic. Like you have to learn more, right? Like you think you don't know enough. And this causes you to switch strategies when the next guru comes on with a Lamborghini and you think, oh, that's the guy. You understand? And then you get really impressed by the algorithm. And then you try out the strategy and you've watched the guy take the trades, but you can't do it. You just don't know how to do it. Still, you know what to do, but you can't do it, right? So that's the first part of being stuck in stage 3, right? And I know a lot of you can relate, right? And I was stuck there for a long time, so I know exactly how you feel, okay? And you don't have to feel bad. You just need to know where you are on the timeline, right? So once you understand where you are, okay, then you can start to move forward, okay? So then the second part of stage 3 is that you keep making the same mistakes, right? You keep moving your stops to break even too soon. right? Or you keep closing your trades too early, and so you never have the patience to let your trades run to take profit, right? Or you over leverage, you use more risk than you should. So you do all the same mistakes and you know it, right? You know it. Like everybody's telling you and you know exactly what to do, but you still repeat the same mistakes and you don't know why. And well, the reason is because you have the wrong subconscious programming. Okay, you have your brain is not programmed the right way, right? This is why you feel like you're possessed, right? You do things and you keep making the same mistakes, right? And you know better, right? But you can't help yourself, right? And that's just your body overriding the reaction to the market. It's a negative automatic reaction, right? And this is a big problem for, I would say, most of the traders, okay? And you're not even aware it's happening. So it's quite dangerous because you don't know, you're just there scratching your head and you know what I'm talking about because you're doing it, you've done it, right? So this is nothing new, okay? And the first way to address this problem and fix it is self-awareness, right? Which is basically what you know, this whole channel is about and a lot more. But you make the same mistakes, right? And then you kick yourself and then you go into depression, right? And this is a problem because then it leads to stage three, to part three of stage three, right? And now this is where trading feels like war. It's an internal battle. Like you're exhausted. Every trade is tiring. It's a mental battle, right? It's an emotional roller coaster, and you don't know why, right? You a loss destroys you. A win gets to your head, right? A little bit of profit makes you nervous, right? Because you're just not wired for it, right? So you have this emotional time bomb just ticking inside of you. Okay, so it's just very draining, and I've been there. Okay, and I fixed myself, but I'm just saying, like, it's tiring, right? And you're just exhausted. You're chasing price, you're chasing setups. You've got your ego is yapping in one ear, right? You're trying to fix everything, so you're getting really tired, right? And it's an emotional battle. It's warfare. Okay. And to be honest, it doesn't have to be, right? Actually, trading is simple, okay? And it's stress free if you know how to do it, right? And so that's part three of stage three, okay? And then that starts, it snowballs and that leads over. By the way, if you're still watching, congratulations, you're a serious trader, okay? So you're on the right track because you understand what I'm saying, right? You can relate to what I'm saying, you resonate with what I'm saying, and you understand that it's more than just charts, right? And this is where you're developing as a trader, and I want to let you know that you are close, right? So don't give up, just keep going, but make sure you watch this to the end, okay? So it snowballs over into part four of stage three, right? And that is basically you don't trust yourself. Okay. You don't trust your edge. You don't trust the process. You don't trust your system. You don't trust anything because nothing has ever worked, right? Even though you know what to do. You're skeptical about yourself. You can't trust yourself, right? You just know that when you put on a when you put on a trade, your gut sinks, right? And the price hasn't even moved yet. You just put on a fresh trade and you have this doubt in you. You have this sick gut wrenching feeling like you're gonna fuck this one up, right? And because you don't trust yourself, right? You don't trust the edge, you don't trust the process, you don't trust anything. And it's sickening, right? It builds anxiety, it builds stress. In my case, I had insomnia from it. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't trust my trades to fall asleep at night and let my trades run. I couldn't do it, right? Where now it's completely different, right? I don't have those issues, okay? So That's like part 4 of stage 3, right? It's sort of like this internal trust. This it's just right. You have to come overcome this, okay? And I'll show you how later. So then you get to part 5 of stage 3, and part 5 is basically you have this mental prison. Your mind is like a jail cell, right? Like you're torn between two parts. So one part of your brain, like one part of your mind has wisdom, right? You know what to do. But the other part has this pain. It's like this cannot execute, right? This it's reckless, right? So you have wisdom, but you're reckless and you cannot execute based on the wisdom. So your mind is you're stuck in this mental prison, right? And this will drive you crazy. Okay? It's tiring. It's this mental gymnastics, right? Of knowing what to do and not being able to do it, right? Once you start to understand all of this, right, and you bang your head on the table long enough against your monitor long enough, right, that's where, according to Mark Douglas and several others, but in the Disciplined Trader, that's where you go from stage 3 to stage 4. And the stage 4 of the evolution is when you realize that it's you, that you're the problem. And this is the best part, right? This is like the epiphany when you're like, when you've been trying to trade for long enough and you've been through every damn course and every strategy and you tried everything and you've just running around in circles now and whatever, you get to a point where if you're smart, and I know you're smart, right? Because you didn't quit. You're watching videos like this. You're not chasing cheap Lambo videos for dopamine and keeping you in a state of want and lack. You're actually looking at psychology videos, right? Which is what trading is really all about. And stage 4 was you realize that it's you. And hooray, good, right? Because now you can fix you. And once you fix yourself, right, you go on to stage 5, which is mastery, right? And that's where everything is calm and peaceful and trading is pretty much simple, right? So that's what my course is all about, the Inner Edge Pro. That's the first link in the description. It's all about emotional regulation, fixing your negative beliefs about trading, all this sort of psychological and the mental side of trading, which is basically the only course that actually goes in and reprograms your mental program as a trader to become more consistent and calm and more confident and better. And yeah, if you want to do that, it's the first link in the description. But basically, you don't need more strategy at this point, right? I think you've been trying long enough. You know you've been trying long enough, right? You watched every damn video, and the next video that you're going to watch on strategy, right, is just going to confuse you more, right? You have to know that you know enough already, right? And be wise enough to know that you know enough to know that it's you, right? This is where the evolution, this is how you get to the next level, right? Stage 4 and 5, right? And very few people make it, okay? Like it's less than 5% of all traders that actually make it to that final stage. And then that's how they have their systems in place. And, trading is simple and easy. It's not emotional and tiring. And, it's a breeze, right? And it's consistent, right? So, congratulations, you made it to the end. And if you're still here, let me know in the comments that you're built different, you're a warrior, you're the real one, right? And you're determined to level up to the final stages, to the boss level, right? So, if you're new to my channel as well, go ahead, like and subscribe and drop your comments below. And until the next video, you're on your own. So, take care now. Bye.